I never thought I'd see a grown woman sprinting down Maplewood Drive, arms flailing, voice howling like she'd stepped in a nest of snakes, while a swarm of bees chased her past freshly washed SUVs and perfect green lawns. But that's exactly what happened last Tuesday, and I'll tell you right now, every single sting was earned. Around here, folks love to say karma moves slow, but I disagree. Sometimes karma's got wings and a stinger. A couple months back, Maplewood Grove was my sanctuary. Quiet evenings, the soft hum of my backyard hives, neighbors nodding hello from driveways shining after rain. I bought this place after 20 years as a paramedic, chasing a kind of peace you can't get with sirens and traffic and bad news all day. My wife Diane and we wanted a neighborhood where the loudest thing was the mower, or maybe me fumbling around in my beekeeping suit. She always said I looked like a marshmallow astronaut, but she loved the honey. Every Sunday morning I'd bring her fresh honeycomb for her toast, and she'd just roll her eyes and say, "You're such a show-off." We were happy, our own little slice of quiet. Then came Karen Whitfield. You ever met a woman who thinks she was born to rule? That's Karen. She moved in, took one look at our neighborhood, and appointed herself queen of everything. Printed her own HOA guideline pamphlet. No kidding, started patrolling with a clipboard, knocking on doors, acting like she was building her own army. First time I met her, I was out by the hives checking the frames. She walked right up my drive, sunglasses as big as dinner plates, arms crossed, and says, "Excuse me, sir, are you aware you're keeping dangerous insects this close to residential property?" I looked up, smiled through my veil. "They're bees, ma'am. Pretty harmless unless you give them a reason." She snaps. "They could sting children." I told her, "Karen, there's no kids on this street." Her lips pinched tight. "That's Mrs. Whitfield," she corrected. "And I'll be bringing this up at the next HOA meeting." "I'll bring honey," I said. She spun around and stomped off. Let me tell you, I should have recognized the warning signs. Disturb a hive, you get the buzz. At first I kept my head down, mowed my lawn on Saturdays, minded my bees, waved at neighbors. Packages showed up like clockwork, tucked safe behind a fern by Tony, our mail carrier. Tony's an ex-Marine, the type you trust instantly. Sometimes he'd chat for a minute about football, always smiling. Then one Monday, Diane says, "Honey, you get that Amazon order?" I shook my head. No box, no notification. Weird. Tony swore he'd delivered it. We checked everywhere, nothing. Figured porch pirates didn't think much of it till it kept happening. Always my stuff too. Never Diane's craft supplies, never Paul's stuff next door. After the third time, I checked my camera cord, unplugged. Real neat job. That's when I knew someone wasn't just thieving, they were careful about it. So I asked Paul, my neighbor, quiet guy, always notices everything, "Hey, seen anything odd around my porch?" He glanced at the Whitfield place. "Didn't hear it from me, but Karen picked up one of your boxes last week. Said she was taking it inside for safekeeping." I nearly laughed out loud. Karen, taking my mail. Paul just nodded. "HOA regulation," she said. I could have stormed over, but years on the ambulance taught me don't let anger drive. I needed proof. Next day, I went to the HOA office, asked Pam, the secretary, about any official rules. She blinked, no such thing. Karen's making up rules. I just grinned. Just checking. That night, sitting out by the hives, I thought, bees got it figured out. They don't steal from each other, don't gossip, just do their work, respect the hive, keep things balanced. I told Diane what Paul saw. She just shook her head. That half, "Please don't do anything dumb look. Wives give you..." Over the next week, I started noticing Karen's new habit. Every morning she'd march her little white dog past my house, pausing right by my porch. Every time a package landed, she'd glance around, scoop it up, pretend to check the label, and then sometimes just walk off. I caught her once. "Need help carrying that, Karen?" She jumped like I'd fired a starter's pistol, muttered something about community standards, and hurried off. That night, Diane caught me grinning. That's not your "I forgive you" smile. That's your "I'm about to cause trouble" smile. "Just thinking about bees, honey," I said. She groaned, "Please don't do anything." but I had to. See, I wasn't going to yell or threaten, I was going to teach. I set up a new camera this time with a backup battery she couldn't yank out and waited. Sure enough, 10:42, Tony drops a package. 11:15. Here comes Karen. Pink blazer sunglasses, clutching her clipboard, marching up like she's got a warrant. She grabs the box, struts off without a glance back. Watched the footage 3 times. Her little smirk was infuriating, but I let her dig her own hole. I printed the photos, labeled them Package Theft Exhibit A. Sent her a text. Hi, Karen. Noticed you grabbed one of my deliveries. Appreciate the concern. Just drop it by tomorrow. She replied, only for safekeeping. HOAs had reports of suspicious activity. You can collect it after the next meeting. Suspicious activity. Diane almost spit out her wine, laughing. She's holding your packages hostage. Guess she's waiting for ransom, I said. So I went to the next HOA meeting room, smelled like cheap coffee and expensive perfume. Karen's at the podium preaching about community risks. I raised my hand. Question, Madam President. Are you allowed to remove mail from private property? She glared. This isn't about me, Mr. Turner. No, I said it's about you taking my boxes. The room murmured. I was protecting the neighborhood, she snapped. Sure, I said, because when I think safety, I think someone hoarding bee supplies and coffee filters in their garage. Got a few chuckles with that. If you have complaints, file them in writing, she barked. Already did, I said, tapping the folder. With the sheriff. She went pale, but I hadn't actually called them yet. But then another package went missing. That was it. I set a trap, a fake box GPS tracker inside note that said, smile for the camera, Karen. Labeled it fragile organic wax samples. Next morning, Tony dropped it off. I sat with my coffee camera feed rolling. 10:15, Karen, same walk, same routine, scoops it up and takes it straight to her garage. I followed the tracker, pulled up, and there she is, watering her flowers, acting casual. Funny thing, I said, my missing package wandered into your garage. She stammered. Must have been a mix-up. Yeah, I said, the mix-up was you thinking you're the postal service. Behind her, I spotted a stack of boxes, my boxes. You've been busy, I said. She turned red, threatened to fine me for harassment. Make sure they spell thief right in the minutes I called as I walked off. That night, the HOA board called an emergency meeting accusing me of spying and using illegal trackers. The board wanted things to cool down. Translation, let Karen off, keep the peace. That's when I realized rules don't stop bullies, but consequences might. Standing by my hives that evening, I got an idea. If she wants to invade my property, maybe she should meet the real enforcers. That weekend, I moved one hive right up by the mailbox, planted lavender around it, and left a package labeled Organic Royal Honey Fragile. Sure enough, Karen marched right up, her little dog barking, and reached for the box. The bees buzzed. One landed on her sleeve. She panicked, flailed, then ran screaming down the block. Bees in hot pursuit. I watched from the living room, sipping coffee. No, Karen, they're just defending their hive. By that afternoon, HOA had an emergency meeting about bee safety. Karen showed up with a bandaged hand and a dramatic scarf, claimed she'd been viciously attacked by aggressive bees kept illegally. I calmly offered paperwork, county-registered hives, all legal. Played the video for the room, Karen trespassing bees, buzzing her, shrieking like a siren. The room tried not to laugh, but couldn't help it. Greg, the VP, finally said, Karen, we can't condone removing things from private property. Then maybe the HOA needs new rules, she yelled. The meeting ended with no verdict. I didn't need one. The court of public opinion stung harder. She wasn't done, though. The next morning, a notice appeared on my door, effective immediately. No hives, insects, or pollinators on HOA grounds. I laughed. County law overrules HOA rules. When animal control showed up, they left with a jar of honey and a smile confirming everything was legal. Karen doubled down, passing out flyers. Aggressive bees threaten our children. Never mind, there weren't any kids. Most neighbors started to see through her. Some even put fake bee boxes in their yards in solidarity. At the next open forum, she waved a jar of my honey, shouting, "Illegal beekeeping." I pointed out it won a county fair prize, and half the proceeds went to the school garden. Someone in the back yelled, "We love that honey, Karen lost it." That night, Diane woke me. Did you hear that? Outside, Karen was skulking in a hoodie, dragging a canister. Before I could intervene, she knocked over the hive. Thousands of bees poured out. She screamed, ran for her house, a swarm right behind her. Her husband opened the door. Half the bees followed her inside. Sheriff showed up. Paramedics patched her up. The story spread. HOA president hospitalized after attacking legal beehives. Video hit. The group chat. Neighbors watched it like it was primetime TV. Greg quit the board. Karen got suspended. Her husband put their house up for sale. The morning she moved out, I was weeding the lavender. She muttered, "You think you've won, don't you?" I just said, "No, Karen, I think the neighborhood did." As the truck pulled away, a bee landed on her window. She floored it. And for the first time, Maplewood Grove was truly peaceful. We had a little neighborhood gathering, beer, lemon bars, stories about the Great Bee War. Even Greg admitted, those bees did more for order than the HOA ever did. Diane leaned her head on my shoulder. "You didn't destroy her. You know she did that herself." She was right. I left a jar of honey on the old Whitfield porch. No note, just a small gesture. Sometimes people need a reminder that life can be sweet. Soon, kids from the next street came by to see the bees. I taught them how hives work, how every bee has a job, how they protect the colony, but never attack without reason. Little Timmy asked, "Aren't you scared they'll sting you?" I smiled. "No, kiddo bees only sting to protect what's theirs, like any good neighbor." Funny thing, I thought peace meant being left alone, but it turns out real peace is having something worth defending. The bees saved me as much as I saved them. That fall, with Karen gone and the HOA dissolved, the neighbors started joking about the Honey Owners Association. Every house got a jar of Hive Justice honey, even got t-shirts made. A month later, a letter came from Karen. She'd lost her house, her husband, even her pride, but she wrote, "You were right. I tried to control everything because everything else was falling apart. I hope you take care of the new family the way you took care of your hives." Not an apology exactly, but close enough. I left another jar on her old porch. No message, just the gold shining in the sunlight. As summer faded, I'd sit on the porch with Diane, watch the bees floating home, their hum steady as ever. We'd wave to neighbors who now stopped to chat, some even asking about keeping hives themselves. That's the funny thing about karma. It doesn't need your anger, just a little direction. I carved a sign for the fence, "Respect the hive," and it'll respect you. It wasn't just about bees anymore, it was about balance. So yeah, I never thought I'd see a grown woman run from a cloud of bees, but I also never thought I'd see a community come together the way Maplewood did. If you've ever tangled with a Karen or fought for your own peace, remember this: sometimes justice doesn't roar, it just buzzes until the right people finally learn to listen. And if you're still here, tell me, what would you have done? Ever had a neighbor like Karen? Drop your story in the comments. Let's talk justice, because one thing I know for sure, karma always finds a way to sting back.